Have you ever wanted to add a swarm of something into a painting? Maybe falling leaves or snowflakes or something like this flock of birds here. Well, one tempting solution is to just find a photo on the internet and slap it on top of your painting. Well, don't do this. In this video, I'm going to show you a better way to make swarms and in your own style, and you can save time while doing it. So computers lack the ability to add expressive quality to work, but one thing that they're great at is making copies of things. So the basic concept behind this technique is to duplicate layers and then tweak them to make them look random. So in this example, my goal is to create this large flock of birds. So the key first step is to find out what your individual repeat units are. So in this case, I looked at some photos of flying birds and flocks of birds, and I decided that about 3 different poses was really probably all I would need to create the randomness that I was going for. So I painted each on its own layer. And at the largest scale that I'll need them in my composition. So now it's time to generate the swarm itself. So I'll start slow and I'll explain each keyboard shortcut that I'm using. First, I use the V key to select the Move tool. And regardless of which layer I have active, I can hold down the Control button and left click and it'll instantly select whichever layer I'm pointing at. Once I've got the right layer selected, I let go of Control and I hold down Alt and click drag to create a duplicate. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because this is a really important sequence. With the Move tool, hold down Control to select a layer, let go of Control, hold down Alt, click and drag, then let go of Alt. And now you've got a duplicate. This is going to be a really important sequence once we get going here because I'm probably going to have 30 or 40 layers before too long. Once you've got a duplicate, it's time to free transform. This is Ctrl+T on your keyboard. And if you hold down Shift, you can uniformly free transform. Or without Shift, you can skew in this way. And right-clicking will give you an extra set of options. And I like to use Distort. And once you've gotten to this point, I've got what I like to call a clump. If one bird could easily be repeated, in that way I can use all of these birds together as a single repeat unit. So what I'll do is I'll select all my layers, duplicate them by dragging the whole group down onto the new layer button, flatten that, and then I've got a new repeat unit. And I can work with this in the same way. It could be that I want to lighten these up to make them look like they're further away in space. And then I can flatten 3 clumps down and I've got an even smaller repeat unit. Birds off in the distance. You can flip horizontally if you want to have them coming from the other side of the screen. Now when you're flattening, remember to leave some of these birds individual. And then sometimes one thing I like to do at the very end is to select all the birds, flatten them together, and do a warp. And this will add a line of action to all of them simultaneously. And so there you go. I started with 3 birds that I drew, and the end result is a flock of birds that were generated through using the Move tool and the Free Transform tool. And it's in this way that you can save yourself a lot of time and effort.